even when the world's against you.
Hey. No matter what people say, live life your own way, even when the world's against you. Let your light glow. Take time and build up your thing. Don't make nobody have not a thing over you.
Try if you feel, try again, cause nobody else cannot do it for you.
You can do anything you want to.
Life's sweet, fit true.
It's not too late to live for people and start living you. Yeah. No matter what nobody says,
Nobody
live life your own way,
wanna do it.
even when the world's against you.
Ooh, yeah. No matter what nobody say, do things your own way. When the world's against you, let your light. People gonna say all kind of things about you, but you not fi pay them. Don't you pay them no mind.
A lot of them will even try to don't you,
I know.
but you know if you make them, don't make them waste your time.
No matter what you do, you can't please people. I tried it too many times before. Them only smile, then turn round, judge me. Some even push me to the floor.
Cause if you make them mislead you, you won't go sorry when them no need you. Cut them off if you need to, cause when you kill you, will surely bill you. Hey, no matter what nobody say, live life your own way, even when the world's against you.
Hey, no matter what nobody say, do things your own way. Even when the world's against you, let your light glow.
People have a way of drawing their conclusions.
That's true.
All when them don't know you, know nothing about you, or where you're coming from.
And some will try to stop you for no reason. Because your journey, them can't understand.
No matter what you do, you can't please people.
I know.
I've tried it too many times before.
You do.
Them only smile and don't judge me. Some even push me to the floor.
Cause if you make them mislead you, you won't go sorry when them don't need you. Cut them off if you need to. Cause when I kill you, will surely bill you. Hey, no matter what nobody say,
No matter,
live
no.
life your own way.
Yeah.
Even when the world's against you.
Hey. No matter what people say, live life your own way, even when the world's against you. Let your light glow. Take time and build up your thing. Don't make nobody have not a thing over you.
Try if you feel, try again, cause nobody else cannot do it for you.
You can do anything you want to.
Life's sweet, fit true.
It's not too late to live for people and start living you. Hey. No matter what nobody says,
Nobody
live life your own way,
wanna do it.
even when the world's against you.
Ooh, yeah. No matter what nobody say, do things your own way. When the world's against you, let your light glow.
Welcome to the 1873 Nerd Galaxy.
The whole music, the whole atmosphere.
You have to experience it to believe it.
It's just epic.
Activate your brain.
Американская фирма Transceptor Technology.
Status activated. Be ready to be stimulated.
One DJ for afternoon drive time experience. On the 187.3 FM radio, I'm a whole place governed. I said that. Lock it down. Matting, full stock and pack it down. Boom.
Don't stop, don't break it.
Right, 6 minutes gone after 3 p.m. Good afternoon. Welcome to the driver. This is the 1873 FM. We're hanging out on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Shortly, I'll be joined by Dr. Ray as we look in the business in Corona. All right, the world has come to a lockdown, and there's a whole lot of panic that's going on, given that the outbreak is spreading fast and thick.
Don't stop, don't break it.
All right, we're going to be looking at things that you need to know, and what kind of opportunities are there, and what you need to do as a person to get yourself ready and prepared. Right, let's see if we've got Dr. Ray on the other side. Doc Ray, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my dear brother. How are you? Good afternoon,
Right,
listener.
I seem not to hear you, Doc Ray. Just hold on a second. Let's see if we can fix one or two things on your line. It is the drive of the 1873 FM. Stay tuned. Keep it locked. We return shortly once we establish that communication with Dr. Ray. Stay tuned. It's your drive. Right, Dr. Ray, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well, my brother. Can you hear me?
Okay, let's see. Seems the audio is a bit low on your ends. Let's see if we will be able to continue.
Okay,
with,
can you hear
this,
me now?
conversation. Right, good afternoon. Welcome to the drive.
Oh, good afternoon, my dear brother. How are you? Good afternoon, listeners.
All right, and not too bad. All right, to our listeners, to the viewers, let us know if you can hear Dr. Ray loud and clear, yeah, we can sort of get going with the conversation. Right, maybe for the benefit of the listeners, Doc, let's get off by getting to know who Dr. Ray is.
I'm not a medical doctor. I'm basically a financial engineer. I am just one of those regular Joes, those PhD type, with a PhD in synthetic finance or financial engineering.
Okay, all right. No, thank you for that. So, Doc, we are faced with this pandemic, and obviously, there's a whole lot of things that people ought to look at, and looking at the business side also of this pandemic.
Can you hear me
what do you
now?
have to share with our listeners this afternoon? Hello, Doc. All right, let's quickly take a break. We'll come back. We'll sort out that line.
Diverse human ecosystem. There is more that unites us and not divides us. Oh, yeah. Democracy alone cannot deliver the true purpose of life. To see. Gotta be the change you wanna see. See me talking to the man in the mirror. See me talking to the man.
Right, 11 after 3 p.m. The drive. Right, let's see if we can converse with the Doc. The Doc, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you well. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, viewers. Good afternoon, listeners.
Okay. All right. Apparently, I'm the one who's not audible to the listeners. Maybe we need to fix me first before we fix your side. So give me a moment, Doc, while I fix my side, and then we continue the conversation.
It is well.
We can change the world. We can change it. Make it a better place for us. It starts with you and me.
lady. We see people differing to others to be the change. Yet we all know that any motion requires causation.
Get more online. Keep updated with our Facebook page. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Everybody wanna be famous, wanna be.
It feels good.
Add us to your network. You ready?
Yeah.
So get in the car.
Go home.
Plug in weekdays from 3.
Right, sorry for that cut in transmission. We're back, and hopefully now we'll be able to have the conversation with Dr. Ray. Dr. Ray, are you there? And let's see if we can re-establish that connection with Dr. Ray. All right, to our viewers, listeners, have you tested for the coronavirus? And what measures are you taking to keep yourself safe and to protect yourself? You can share those with us on our social media platforms on Facebook and Twitter. The handle is at the 1873 FM. Get conversing with us. The studio number it's 011-568-4272. WhatsApp number 082-649-2451. Right, Doc, welcome back.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be back, my brother. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. All right, let's begin our conversation, Doc. Have you tested positive or negative?
I haven't had reason to test either positive or negative because really that's also one of the issues that unnecessarily burden the health care delivery system in terms of the potential of everybody wanting to get tested. Imagine what was happening in China when you had denizens of people flooding up the hospitals, flooding the healthcare access centers, a lot of them being rightfully negative. But obviously through the process of testing and being near and particularly close to other people who are rightfully positive, then you're giving yourself unnecessary exposure. So as and when you feel good, get feeling good until you don't feel quite so good, and then you necessarily need to seek testing. So it's not necessary to burden the system by testing.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is there is no need to panic.
There is no need to panic. If you can buy a home test kit, happiness, do it for yourself. But if you have to use public access pathways of the health kind, it will be unnecessary burden for one who is particularly asymptomatic to seek counsel on the basis of panic.
Right. And do you think testing is really important, though?
Testing is really important, but what is really important is when you really should decide to test. It's like somebody having money in the bank. Can you imagine if everybody with money in the banks necessarily suddenly floods the bank to check if their money is there by physically going at the bank? That would be a run at the bank. So it would be an equivalent to that. If everyone who is particularly panicky and finicky about the situation runs off and get tested, that will be a run on our public health delivery systems, and I'm not sure it's set up to cater for that. Statistically, they say that we only have between 30 to 60 beds for every 10,000 folk. So you can imagine.
Which is really scary. And going back to the issue of testing and one knowing their status, I think I was reading reports of a tourist that went past Victoria Falls all the way to Joburg and the United Kingdom. Tested in Zimbabwe, they said it was a malaria symptom or reacting to the malaria vaccine that she had taken. So how certain are we that these tests really do work?
You cannot be certain. Like I said, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not going to delve into the politics and the techniques of that. But all I can say from an informed position is there's really no need to panic. This is something that is just like a particularly virulent form of the usual flu. It is definitely something that can be passed on from person to person. But to the extent that we just keep going on with our lives for as much as possible within the framework of also exercising due discretion and caution, like social distancing, like making sure that we wash our hands pretty diligently and thoroughly, like making sure that we don't make unnecessary trips, and making sure that we change the way in which we do business so that we can do it more and more remotely. That's a sign of caring. And for as long as we do that, I think we are just playing our rightful part in being responsible.
Now, Doc, let's look at the business in Uncle Corona. What is your take on the Corona economy? Hello, Dr. Ray.
I can't hear you now, my brother. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. I was saying, now let us look at
Okay,
the
I'm having
business
problems
of
hearing
Uncle
you.
Corona. What is your take on the Corona economy? Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, let me put on my headphones because I'm having problems hearing you.
Okay, all right, awesome. Right, let's see if we can sort out that communication between myself and Doc. All right, can you hear me now?
Okay, let's try this again.
All right, can you hear me?
Perfect.
All right. I was saying now let us look at the business of Uncle Corona. What is your take on the Corona business?
My take is that it is a legitimate business. It is a business that we all should look at in terms of it being an opportunity. It is a business that no one wished to have. It is a condition that has been foisted upon us. It is the same situation as a funeral business. Nobody wants to particularly go out there like the Grim Reaper, killing off people or wishing people dead. But somebody has got to bury them, right? It's an opportunity.
That's correct. I mean, why get concerned about making money off the dead when they're already dead? I caught a certain
They are
gentleman.
indeed already dead, and Black people need to get off of themselves in order to moan and groan about disasters. We just don't need to play dead and to play indifferent to opportunities. We don't need to look at the disaster quotient. We might as well resurrect ourselves financially from this disaster. We must and we should be particularly part of the value chain. We can't have the Chinese bring or have the disease come from there, and then we as Black people, all we have to do is to pray about it. All we have to do is to hunker down at home, self-isolate about it, and have other people take opportunities. There are opportunities in masks. There are opportunities in sanitizers. There are opportunities in toilet paper. There are opportunities in any and everything of the kind and nature of the kind of panicky situation that is being created by this coronavirus. So we need to be part of the value chain. Might as well make money. Otherwise, business is about finding solutions. Are we moaning about stuff?
About business, do you see any African business actors looking at the corona as a challenge or as a promise?
For me, coronavirus has been less of a challenge and even more so a promise. And in fact,
right, we seem to have a jammed line there with
rather than
Dr.
less than I because with corona.
Joining us on the line on the 1873 FM drive. 25 minutes are gone after 3 p.m. If you've got questions, contributions, don't hesitate to do so via our social media platforms on Facebook and on Twitter at the 1873 FM, or you can simply drop us a WhatsApp on 082 649 2451. Let's see if the doc is back there. Doc? All right, okay, one moment. Doc, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, all right. I'd kind of lost you there as you were sort of explaining whether it's a challenge or it is a promise when you look at the business actors within the African continent.
For us, it's been a promise, but I not any kind of active business interest in the health landscape. But come Corona, I quickly saw the opportunity. I ring-fenced some local South African production, and we have a set production capacity of 3.5 million masks a day. And I bought the option for 6 months worth of production. So now we have the rise to between 400 and 600 masks. And we are doing our social responsibility part by supply side violence, making sure that we keep the prices low, by business opportunity reflex, making sure that we benefit by that disaster that has been foisted upon us. We are not crying about it. If we are crying, we are crying hoping that everybody be well. But to the extent of those who need help, we are indeed, I wouldn't necessarily say cashing on it. We are of a solution.
And when you look at this pandemic, how big do you think it is?
I think it's as big as it gets. It's as big as it gets because if you look at the history of any such pandemics from time immemorial, you would see that people have never lived in more densified arrangements than now. People have never been as connected as of now, which means, yes, there might have been other disasters and pandemics such as the Black Plague, there might have been the Spanish flu, but there has never been as much an opportunity for people to interact and for people to cross-infect themselves as would be the case with coronavirus. So from that perspective, the mortality rate is necessarily historically low, but the chances of infection are very much necessarily high because we are more interconnected in the global scheme of things.
Oh, okay, all right. And when you look in terms of preparedness, are African business actors prepared to play in this space?
We are not prepared enough because we should be hearing even some of our traditional medicinal folk from the African traditions come up with some concoctions that also address some of the symptomatic expressions of this disease. We should also be forcefully hearing from our scientists, positioning research, so that we can be counted on in the global community of solution finders in the biotech space. We should be hearing our governments, seeing this as also an opportunity, not only to say, please help us, but this is a large employment creator. Like, for example, in our mask business, having ring-fenced 400 to 600 million masks, we aim to employ about 10 to 20,000 independent players, those people who can come up the distribution channel. And imagine a situation where if one was to make necessary interference with people of the nature of Honorable Fikile Mbalula and say, hey, how can PRASA get on board? Can you give us one train? Can you give us one wagon, which will be like a Corona wagon, so that we can have a platform, so that we can have a way to access people, so that people can get gloves, people can get disposables, people can get sanitizers, so that we necessarily reach people at their point of need and realize the opportunities attendant to resolving this timely and correctly for the common benefit.
And talking about the products, Doc, also, what products do you have rights over?
We have disposable overalls. We do have the visors. We also do have the masks. We do have the sanitizers. And the product list grows as the market expressions ask the same from us and of us. And this is really a great opportunity. This is an opportunity without clear monopolistic reflexes. This is an opportunity that anyone, there's low barriers of entry. Anyone can just necessarily get in there. Imagine in the whole of Gauteng, you would find it very, very, very difficult to imagine any pharmacy. I've done my research. There is no pharmacy out there with masks. Right. Everything is gone. The only pharmacy with masks is the one that is on the second floor of the arrival sections of OR Tambo, and they're selling them at 37 a piece. These are masks that were just going for 7 Rand just a few weeks ago. So do I see opportunity? Yes. Should I complain about it?
Doc, let's quickly take a breather. When we come back, we wrap up this segment.
Welcome to the 1873 Nerd Galaxy.
The whole music, the whole atmosphere.
You have to experience it to believe it.
It's just epic.
Activate your brain.
Американская фирма Transceptor Technology.
Status activated.
Affirmative.
Be ready to be stimulated.
Don't stop, don't break it.
Right, this is your Corona Quarter, or the 15 minutes brought to you by the 1873 FM radio to provoke, ignite, and inspire a new thinking on this pandemic. And joining us this afternoon on the drive is Dr. Ray as we continue the conversation around this pandemic. If you've got questions, contributions, don't hesitate to hit us on our socials. Right, let us look, Doc, at the N95 3-ply. What price would you give to a customer?
The N95 3-ply, we are selling it at 25 Rand.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for that. And I got to thank you very much for agreeing to be part of this literacy campaign. We hope that you will join us tomorrow and each and every day to bring light to the issues that may remain masked if we don't play our part.
Thank you so much. In whatever we do, in whatever you do, listeners out there, always live a life with an understanding that you must be profitable.
Right. Thank you so much, Doc. I'm sure you agree with me that knowledge holds a better promise.
Absolutely. Thank you. Stay blessed.
Right. Thank you so much. And to everybody behind the scenes, thank you so much. And to our viewers and listeners, keep it logged to the 1873 FM, your voice, your power.
The king, the mix king, Ron G. Now look what you made me do. Special delivery. Can't touch me. Yo, this is 50 Cent. Mix king. Look what you made me do. You can't touch me. Look what you made me do.
Broadcasting around the world.
Listen, I don't want to take your time up or anything, but I just thought I'd pop in to say that if you don't listen to Titch, can I have to kill you?
Oh, this is mad. You know that? This is really mad.